Hello, dear audience, to New Generation Women, and I'm Jeanine. I think we all start to wish to be able to go out again, to have a glass of wine with friends, to socialize again, to go to the cinema and movies. Just take a walk or go on a trail, because in California the trails are also closed. So now we start to feel, after the first shock is digested, we start to feel we want to engage again. I use this time, I don't have a gym. Normally I go to a dance studio, but my ligaments are torn, so anyway, I couldn't dance, which somehow is good. I don't feel as bad as I would have felt not being able to dance. But I consciously made a decision to use this time as my soul gym. So yes, we cannot go to the gym. We cannot go and maybe you play tennis, or you go dance, or you go to yoga, and this is not possible. And of course, there's an aspect you can all do it by yourself, and you can have your home trainer, you can have your yoga mat. And yet, and we do have online courses. Our community, dance community, is so sweet. They immediately offered online courses with all things that we can do, and even some technical parts in dancing, little of choreography with a chair or with a jacket that we could do, so that we enjoy each other from all over the world. People who have not been in our community have moved away. They are suddenly back. So that's positive, and we are staying in strong spirit. Anyway, what I wanted to say about the Soul Gym, what really helped me at the moment, I am on information detox, and it's so good. It is so good. I have a few resources that I trust, and I know they're sincere. They use their communication mindfully. So it's a very soft way of interaction and of appreciation. Also with my partner, when we do our webinars at the moment, we pulled it off. We just started with Switzerland to do our actually workshop now online, which is of course new, and it's not as easy, but there is still a level of kindness how we deal with it. And that is just really lifting up the quality of my life, even with my torn ligaments, even if my partner is in a different city and I'm stuck here, isolated, totally by myself. I don't feel it that way. What helped me were three things. In my information detox time, I said, I'm only listening now, and I grabbed a journal, and somebody of our community suggested it. So I find it really nice, and I wanted to share this with you. I grab a journal, and every morning before I start my working day, I write down what I feel, or I have a dialogue with my heart, or a dialogue with my inner voice, or your guidance, or whatever name you want to give it. I have a dialogue, I ask questions, sometimes answers don't come, but I leave the questions open, and I know at some point a feeling comes in, an image comes in, or something, or an inner voice says something, or a tingling comes in. So somehow I always know my questions are replied. And sometimes, like at the moment, it's almost as if my guidance system has been waiting for me to reconnect again and detach myself from the outside information to receive the information inside. And yes, on a human level, we are separated. On a soul level, we are definitely connected. And there is a oneness, and a oneness in purpose also in this. So on a soul level, if I tap into my guidance and other people are doing that, that's when we are connected, not just online, but that's our matrix, our internet, so to say, on a soul level. And I absolutely trust and believe that that's where I get the best information for myself right now, and also the information, what can I do for my community, what can I do in my work, what can I do in my friendship circle and with my loved ones to uplift the circle, to uplift the level and the consciousness and our spirit in this. And my commitment and my contribution was to start the global online female story movement. And I have already been so overworked. So I was thinking to myself yesterday, what were you thinking, Jeanine? But there is still so much energy and power that comes from it. I'm meeting online with women from all over the world, Japan and Australia, Finland, Denmark, Sweden, the Netherlands, England, America, to share stories, to go into dialogue, because this is what women did and what women are still doing. We come together and we connect and we share. And there is a lack, men just listen to information, they share information. but they rarely share their heart, their vulnerability in those times. And I think this is our gift, that we do that, and our blessings. So listening to our own guidance and our own voice again is just helping me so much. I get so much valuable information right now for my own growth and also for my work. And my second point was to really, it's an old tool that we all know, but to take this bubble time, or this vision quest time, or purpose quest time, how I'd call it, where we are isolated in quarantine, I really train my inner observer again. And I observe habits of mine and thoughts of mine. They just are so there. I mean, they're so there, and I'm shocked sometimes what comes up. Now, I tend to make myself really small, to give you an example. And that has come up so clearly and so strongly that I was, wow. But I could see it more from a distance while I was training on my inner observer, and create that spaciousness and that distance between the part of me that makes myself small, the part of me that makes myself down, keeps myself thinking I'm not worthy, I'm not able, I'm not enough, I cannot do this. And it gets more into, I'm not prisoned by it anymore. I say, it's interesting. Wow, what have you done to yourself? What have you done to yourself all those years, Jeanine? That's completely an attack to love. If you do this, you cannot talk about self-love. You're attacking yourself constantly. So how can you expect that other people are appreciating you or seeing you for the worthiness that you always were almost begging for, while you make yourself so small? So what I did is, I have a whiteboard. It looks like this. You cannot see it because it's too light what I wrote on it. But I wrote on this whiteboard, this calls for kindness. This calls for being very gentle with yourself, Jeanine. So in this case, I wrote, this calls for kindness. Be gentle with yourself, Jeanine. And I have it, I go out of my home office, and then when I come to the dining room or the dining space, I see it. So I see it, I either put it into the kitchen or into the bathroom or into the dining room. So I always pass the whiteboard, and I'm remembered for the intention of my day. So I always come to my guidance in the morning, sit there. What is my learning? What's my intention? What is my lesson for the day? And I remember that, to be gentle with myself. And it quickly, it's like I switch on a different radio station. Before it was on radio, attack yourself, Jeanine. Make yourself small, Jeanine. You're not worthy. You're not enough. And now I'm aware of that and more distant. And I just switched the signal of the radio station to be kind. This calls for kindness. And everything softens right away. And the third and last point is, as I said, I started the movement with women from all over the world sharing their stories. And the coming together is so beautiful that I never regretted having done that at all. And I felt like I really believe in this, and I hope somehow it continues, maybe in a different form after the bubble. But women are coming together and sharing their stories is so healing and meaningful, and also positive in a very, very wonderful way. You just don't feel lonely anymore. You really feel connected. And anyway, because of that, and we shifted Switzerland from on-site to online, taking care of anything else that was happening in my life. I didn't come to bed before 3 a.m. So I really literally fell flat in my bed around 3 a.m. Sometimes had to unwind and watch a little bit of a movie that I could just unwind my mind. And it was 3:30 a.m. until I would fall asleep. And I got really frustrated. I said, here, you could take this downtime and you could just work less and you could just meditate more, and I just have no time. I just barely had time to brush my teeth because it was so full. And now things become quieter, and I think they became quieter because I completely radically accepted. And I said, Jeanine, don't go into your mindfuck. And I especially say mindfuck because it is a mindfuck. I cannot make it fluffy and glamorous and nice. Don't go there. You manage, you will do this. This just goes on for another 2 days that you have, 2 weeks that you have to work so much. You can do this. Just take it bit by bit. Just learn. This is your bubble. Learn to concentrate one task at a time. Try to really concentrate. Don't think about what still has to happen, what you all have to do, who you have to call back, who you have to do this. Just sit there one task at a time. And I am sometimes really good in concentrating, and sometimes I'm really not good. And I can see all my old patterns are coming up from going there and there, being my attention span is not focusing, then I'm compensating with that, then I'm getting a tea again, then I want to go out. So I can see how I'm distracting myself all the time, which of course by the end of the day has not been so effective. And of course it has drained me. And then the thoughts that come up, and why are you doing this to yourself, and is this worth it, and why can you not just not work so much, or why do you have to work so hard? And then I called my tax expert yesterday. We had to talk about some stuff. And she said, I'm so busy as I never have been. And I said, well, same here. Hello, takes one to know one. And then she said, but I'm really grateful that I have work right now. And so many people, so many self-employed people who have no work. And the German government, I'm so proud. I've never ever said, I think I'm proud of our country right now. And I'm a Dutchie, so I'm not really full German, but I've been lived most of my life in Germany. So I can, from the bottom of my heart, say I'm really proud of my country here, because without any bureaucracy, the country is helping and made a lot of budget, or put a lot of budget aside to help all self-employed who have no money. I think it's a lot of money. And they just give it like immediately. It's like the immediate help program of the government for all self-employed and all people who are losing at the moment their income. And I felt as a self-employed always fighting when things go not as good, and feeling not supported, or having very little compassion of other people who are employed. I felt this is so healing. This is so healing, even if I don't have to ask for it right now, or maybe I will, I don't know. But first of all, this good feeling there is, and second, wow, what kind of changes are happening? And so when I go now to bed, was also radically accepting where I am, and learn and see it as, this is my gym, Jeanine. This is your mind training. What you learn here is what you will grow so much when you go out again and into the world and leave your bubble. Everything you learn now will be so fruitful when you go out. So yes, it is hard right now, but take it as a time to focus on the now, and another now, and another now. And I don't want to say that I'm absolutely 100% able to do it now, but I really believe, because I radically accepted it, because I said, oh, great, this is where you finally can learn to concentrate better, to be more in the now. Now I know what Eckhart Tolle, I'm sure you know him, our wonderful spiritual teacher who lives in, I think, Vancouver or Montecito, I don't know. But he definitely has different little houses, and he comes from Germany. And he always talks about the power of now. And yes, it's wonderfully read, and you love to listen to him, but then practicing it and owning it, it's a different path. So let me just have a sip of my wonderful tea, because I made myself some Earl Grey tea. I love Earl Grey tea, and not that it gets cold. And now I had a reason to say, yes, I'm overworked. Yes, it's a lot, but how would I feel if this would just be in my mind? How would I feel if I could get out of this in no time? And it's just a story in my mind that keeps me being overworked, exhausted. A story in my mind that tells me, you would have had vacation now. You have been waiting for months to have vacation. You have organized it with all your love you can, and now your vacation is gone. You had to go back home, and you sit here and you're working. And now, of course, you are tired. Of course, your body is not feeling well. How does it feel if you come to believe that this story is making you being exhausted, overworked, and you don't stop going into the story? You just don't go there anymore. And also, I'm really thankful for that I have work. I'm really thankful. I'm thankful for connecting to this wonderful people. I'm thankful for being able to take care of myself, my mind, my thoughts, in such an undivided way, or let it say differently, this gives undivided attention to upgrade my inner life. And when I go out, my outer life will change accordingly. I'm absolutely convinced by that. But this is my time. And when I go to bed, and this is the last point, not to hold you back from what you are going to do and having to do. I count my blessings. I go into bed and I thank the universe and thank myself for always 3 things that happen during the day. And sometimes the day was not good, but then you might have had a good coffee, or you might have had a good tea. Take the chance again to take a sip. And then I have 2 other points. So I always come back, even if the day was tiring, exhausting, I come back with my gratitude boots. I call them my gratitude boots. Okay, Jeanine, now you have complained. Maybe you had your little cry, but now you come back with your gratitude boots. Gratitude boots. So I wanted to share this because, as I said, this is just a note in between. The next story is coming again on Saturday, so it's going to be on YouTube on Sunday. A wonderful woman, her name is Nadia Hakonsson in Sweden, as the name has already, it sounds already in the name that she's Swedish. And she's a CEO who works in Africa, but she's stranded in Sweden back. Her family is in Africa and Morocco, and she is also working as a CEO for Morocco, for Africa. And we are going to continue the story movement, but I wanted to drop a little note. Well, it's not as little, it's actually long. But these were my stories, my bits and pieces that I wanted to share with you. And I'm always very, very grateful hearing of other people's stories. I'm very grateful reading books that are authentic and pure and kind. It just in no time lifts up my own energy and everything softens. And yes, the softening part is for us women so important. I don't want to say it's the anti-aging tool, but I definitely believe if we are not softening up our heart and our minds, it gets stuck in the face. And we definitely don't want that. So having said this, have a restful, a hopeful, a calm, and also a soulful rest of your day. And I have to apologize. The camera is not working as good as it should be. I have to send it to a technician, so I'm sorry for that. Also, the sound has not been as good, and I thought it were my Apple earphones maybe. And now I ordered on Amazon new Apple earphones. So what did happen? This is not the way how I wanted it. So I ordered new ones so that the story movement would continue with a good audio, with a good way that you guys could hear me. And this is what happened. So now I cannot send it back, or I have to send it back, and it will take again ages until I get the right one. So there is absolutely no way of being perfect in this time, and I have to remember and finish this story bite with a wonderful book of Brené Brown, The Gift of Imperfection. I really, really have to live with this on a daily basis right now, and this is hard at times, but this calls for kindness. Okay, bye-bye for now, and finally I'll let you go.